99.3 Nigeria Info. Good morning, Lagos, and good morning, the rest of the country and the larger world. How are you doing today? We're late, but I promise it will be a great show. So welcome as we go straight into COVID-19 heroes this week. My name is Femi Obong-Daniels. This week on the show, alongside my co-hosts.
Hi, Wiebe.
Yeah, Wiebe Boer. Wiebe, how are you doing?
Hi, Wiebe.
Yeah, I'm okay. We seem to be having a little bit of technical difficulties. Can you see me and hear me?
Yeah, we can see you. You are slanted. You're almost upside down, but it's okay.
Oh,
there you are.
Okay. All right.
All right. Perfect.
All right, and all right. Good.
Apologies.
Good morning.
Good morning. Apologies, gentlemen. Technical issues and all of that, but we're fine and ready to go. This week on the show, we are looking at the Fightback. Fighting back COVID-19 through innovation. And we have an amazing individual who represents an amazing body as our hero today. As always, I'll have Wiebe Boer do us the honor of introducing our hero this week.
All right. Thank you, Femi. Good morning. Listen, today we have Kabir Muhammad, who is the Chief Strategy Officer of Jaiz Bank, is on with us today. Kabir, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. It's like I lost connection a short while ago.
Okay. All
Probably
right.
from my end.
Okay, no problem. It's very clear now.
I can hear you now.
Good to have you on from Abuja. And Femi, just so you
still
know,
not that strong.
Okay, and Femi, just so you know, just like me, Kabir and I are both Jos boys.
Beautiful. The best of us come from Jos. I don't understand why, but but again, you can't fight it because generation after generation, some of the most amazing individuals you've seen in different areas: sports, music, politics, business, and all of that. There's something about Jos, and we need to find it out eventually.
Yeah. So anyway, but that will be we'll talk about that on another show. But today, Kabir, the first question is, how did such a young man become the Chief Strategy Officer of Nigeria's largest non-interest bank? Tell us a bit about your own background. Hello, Kabir, are you there?
Okay. Probably having.
It seems to be frozen.
Yes.
Is it possible to call him back?
Okay. We are reestablishing that contact, and we'll take it from there. Just in case you're just joining us, like we mentioned at the onset, we're talking about the fight back against COVID-19 through innovation. Fight back COVID-19 through innovation. Dr. Kabir Muhammad is our guest and hero today, Chief Strategy Officer, Jaiz Bank. Kabir, are you able to finally rejoin us?
Unfortunately, I think he's dropped off.
Okay.
Do you have a way to call him back?
Yeah. Yep. The call is just being put through from.
Okay.
We'll see. Now, to make it easier for us, some of the information we are looking to find out on the show today. We're looking at his organization, which happens to be a bank, a non-interest bank. And some people are wondering what do you mean by a non-interest bank? You'll get an insight into that. You'd able to also grasp how they are fighting back COVID-19. They have an innovation challenge to help fight back. The idea behind it, who's eligible, what are their prizes, what do people win, and how can it affect people positively. a challenge in the midst of a pandemic. I'm sure you'd want to understand what that is all about, whether the winners will eventually be announced, and then what when we have a winner or winners. And we'll also look at innovations uncovered that can support the national response on COVID-19, and what might be done to sustain this innovation challenge post this COVID-19, whether if COVID-19 does not exist in 2021, will this innovation continue? If people who haven't been able to participate this year and who now know about it, can they then prepare for another one coming? These are some of the factors, and how, again, this whole COVID-19 thing might be changing the banking sector. Jaiz Bank being a case in point, and whether it might have a serious effect on non-interest banking in general. We'll talk about all of that on the show if technology will cooperate. It will seem our guest and hero is back. Hello.
All right. Kabir, can you hear us now? Hello, Kabir.
All right. Why we struggle to do that? Wiebe, I'm of the mind that we might just as well, pending when Kabir finally joins us, review what we have seen over the past few weeks, starting from the last week, where we had the privilege of hosting Muhammad Yahya, UNDP resident representative in Nigeria, in our conversation about the international community support to fight COVID-19. It was that particular conversation was a big one for me, and an opener, something the news cycles, the news organizations picked up on and have run with since then. And you yourself have been in the fight here, and one day I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you and the All On team on your whole COVID-19 response and what's being done and what could yet be done. But having had all these amazing interviews with all these amazing individuals over the past 2-3 months, I'm wondering what might have really stood out for you.
Femi, I love that you're the professional radio guy and you know how to fill time. So, So, and I can actually talk even about the Jaiz Bank challenge because I was actually involved in it in some way. But look, to answer your question, I mean, it does seem like the weeks go by very quickly. It seems like we're on the radio all the time together.
Yeah.
And I think that's the upside, that in spite of this seeming to drag on and on and on, time is moving. And then every week we have this amazing conversation from a completely different angle, different sector of economy, or of society, and everybody is doing their bit in a different way. I still have to think that one of the highlights was Banky W. Just his whole story about just rolling up his sleeves and going out there and just doing stuff. I love the one last week with Mo Yaya, who's actually from Kenya, but was clearly a big fan of Nigeria and is out there, just making calls to China and saying, guys, we need this equipment, get it over here. I don't care what you have to do. And, just to know that everybody's involved to try and address what's going on right now. So it's been really exciting to see all that's happening behind the scenes.
All right. Perfect. If you check the our deck, the dashboard, you would see that efforts are being made to it's a connectivity issue, and we hope we'll get Kabir. But going by what you already know, and I'm particular about Kabir will give us better perspective if we finally get to bring him on. The challenge itself, It's the bank. It's the Fightback COVID-19 Innovation Challenge. I'm trying to understand what this is about at all.
Right. So yeah. So what the bank did, and actually the challenge is finished actually, except the winners have yet to be announced. But basically, what it was is they said, look, we actually need to find and fund innovations in Nigeria and across Africa that can actually help us fight this. And we shouldn't just depend on what's happening elsewhere in the world. And so they put out this challenge. I mean, it was a pretty typical sort of innovation startup challenge. And again, because of everything going on, it was a bit uncertain. Would there be a lot of response? Would there be, a lot of applications and so on? But there were a large number of applications. As I was the chair of the judging panel that helped with the selection. And so we had 2 rounds. There was like a quarterfinals about a month or 2 ago, and then the final round was 2 weeks ago. And all of these companies basically, would pitch from wherever they were. You'd sometimes have teams in 3 to 4 different locations in Nigeria and across Africa, all presenting. It was really cool to see how people had adjusted to what was going on, and then presented. And so the innovations were everything from online health delivery, food delivery. There was an amazing one, sort of making medical equipment. There was a team that was half in Yobe State and half in Kenya that was basically had developed a quick COVID testing kit. So just on and on and on, a lot of innovations that you would be excited to see. And because Jaiz has a stronger presence in northern Nigeria, a lot of the applications were from northern Nigeria, and I think it was good for to see that when you're living in Lagos, there's a very Lagos centric feeling like all of innovation in Nigeria comes from here.
Yeah.
It's only Lagos. It's only and we saw stuff from Kano, like I said, one from Yobe, Adamawa, all over north, obviously Jos, Kaduna. Great innovations that I think even in Lagos people would be like, wow, that's fantastic, that's brilliant. So it was really good to see that the length and breadth of this nation has young people with ideas, with energy, with ambition, ready to jump in and help fight this pandemic. And so that's basically what it was all about. And they had a judging panel where I was honored to be the chair. They had panelists on the judging panel. One was in Kuwait, one was in the US, somewhere in Nigeria. It was all over. And again, it was an example of how sometimes the reality of COVID actually helps you do things better than you would otherwise. Because otherwise, we would have physically all convened probably in Abuja. The guy from Kuwait probably would not have been able to join. It would have cost them, they would have spent all the money on, getting people to Abuja instead of all the money now being able to be used for prize money for the winners. So it actually showed that there are some instances where the situation we're in now actually allows us to innovate and do things in a smarter and better way than we would have otherwise.
So you chaired the panel of judges and all of that, and you just mentioned some of those innovations, that were kind of impressive, and the thought that these innovations were coming in from different parts of the world, different parts of the continent, and different parts of the country. Certainly, there had to be one that really, really blew you away. And
well, I can't really. The problem is if I say too much detail, then I'll probably be revealing maybe who won. But like I said, the one I really like the one where there was the team working between Kenya and Nigeria. And they'd come up with this way of doing the COVID testing very quickly. There was another one that I'm trying to remember. The technology is one of these things where it's interesting and cool, but you hardly understand it. But it was a way of just using like security cameras. You could test and assess people's potential that they may or may not have COVID. And so like it was for like an event center for restaurants or something like that. That even before the person was even in the door, you would already know, oh wow, this person is at risk, and we need to address this. So just things like that, and then online medicine, telemedicine, all with a network of Hausa speaking doctors across northern Nigeria, on and on and on and on and on. Yeah.
Here's the thing. What you mentioned about that invention, that innovation that helps you test quickly is pretty interesting, because we do know there is still some confusion as to the reliability, authenticity of some of the testing measures. Just yesterday, news broke that COVID-19 test results may take as many as 2 weeks still, and this is several months into it. And we know that in the West, the American president has bragged about quick testing, things that give you results, that and all of that. And then yesterday, for me, the way I internalized that news, I'm like, okay, this is back and forth as to this whole thing, especially in parts of the world where there's still large doses of doubt as to, I still have a lot of people, and some of them really enlightened, who still question some of these things. But good, I will come back to that conversation. Maybe we'll treat it another day, because Kabir is back. Welcome, brother.
Thank you so much, Femi.
All right, so Kabir, in your absence, I talked a bit about the challenge. So maybe if you can just quickly describe to the audience, what is non-interest banking, and then what was Jaiz Bank's objective with this challenge?
Okay. Thank you, Wiebe. Non-interest banking, let me start. It's not a concept that, was invented just by Islam. It's a concept that has been there. It's common to the Abrahamic faiths. Judaism, Christianity all had some kinds of prohibitions here and there about usury. But contemporary non-interest banking, also known as Islamic banking, is focusing on not just the prohibition of interest, but there are some other elements. Risk sharing is a key feature. Asset backing in financing is required. Contractual certainty is another element. Also ethical. It has ring fence the playing field for the players. There are areas you can touch. You can do tobacco, you can do alcohol, you can do weapons, So beyond that, also short selling isn't allowed. These are some of the features that during the global financial crisis, institutions playing on this space were among the least affected because they are kind of not really affected by the excessive leverage and risk-taking behavior of a typical financial institution. So that's brief about non-interest banking, and that's the space where Jaiz Bank plays now. So looking at non-interest banking, one can say that, things like entrepreneurship challenge are issues that should be at home with the entities. So starting with our, non-interest banking model as a system, I will try to let the audience understand that we're equally a financial intermediary. So we support businesses, we support individuals. The only distinction is that we do it in a different form. Now, coming to COVID-19, is that monster that jumped in from nowhere, and it has redefined how life is going to be from now going forward. We looked at it and, questioned the approaches that we are seeing currently within the space, and we challenge ourselves to the fact that how can we add value differently, knowing that in history all the challenges that mankind face, one way or the other, were tackled using innovation. So we approach this from a social entrepreneurship perspective. We challenge scientists, engineers, young technopreneurs to come up with solutions that will help address the COVID pandemic. And that's how the story started about this challenge. And I'm glad that we've gone through it for the past couple of months, and now we have 4 winners for this contest.
Did you say 4 winners? Did you say 4 winners?
Yes. 4 winners, yes, have emerged.
How soon?
We have the first prize, second prize,
third and fourth prize. How soon can we know them?
I'm with you.
How soon can we know the winners?
Okay. We're going to officially unveil them this week. There are 4 interesting startup companies that are approaching the pandemic from different perspectives. I will talk about the sectors or the solutions that they brought to the innovation challenge that saw them through. I may not be able to talk about them until they are officially unveiled. So we've seen solutions from the sphere of medical equipment, home developed and designed ventilator. We've seen solutions around, Medicare, telemedicine. We've seen solutions around green energy. We've seen solutions around logistics. So these are the key sectors within the winners emerge.
And how much money are they getting? I mean, it's actually quite a sizable prize.
Yes, the first prize is 50 million naira. The second prize will be getting 40 million naira. The third prize, 20 million, and the fourth prize, 15 million.
So when I heard those numbers, I was very pleasantly surprised. But you see, Femi didn't even bat an eye. So I think when you're a big Lagos boy like Femi, I mean, 50 million naira, that's not. But that is actually a very, very generous prize and very impressive. So the bank is really putting a lot into this.
So
yes, really. Well,
go ahead.
Yes, Femi. Yeah, we are putting our money where our mouth is. As a purpose-driven institution, we're not seeing this as a one-off intervention. So we're not just splashing, peanuts that won't take these startups anywhere. We're looking at giving them the lifeblood they need to be here post-COVID, to remain as social entrepreneurs, making the impact to the society.
All right. So post COVID-19, this is done. Do you? I was just thinking out loud to Wiebe before you finally rejoined. 2021. Let's say COVID is history. Are you going to continue with this innovation because it looks really brilliant? Oh, it will seem Kabir is frozen again. All right. Oh dear. The technical challenges have been. In any case, we have been speaking with our guests. Are you finally here? Kabir?
Yes, Femi, I lost you along the line.
Yes, I was just saying, are you going to sustain this post-COVID-19?
Okay, yes. Actually, this process started before COVID. We're looking at supporting startups, particularly technopreneurs that have social perspective. We are working on all the machinations that will make this happen, and suddenly COVID jumped into the scene. So we just tweaked a bit what we have on the drawing board to make it address some of the yearnings that are linked to COVID. But post-COVID, this is going to be an annual event that will be coming out to challenge social entrepreneurs to address some of the challenges facing our society.
All right. Unfortunately, we've run completely out of time. Now, there is much to unpack. There is a whole lot more we'd like to figure out. So we would have, hopefully, we would have another meet. We would have I'm very particular about, interest-free banking and how you make any money, if at all.
Yes.
So it's a conversation.
It could be an interesting conversation for another day.
It's a conversation I would like for another day, where we also look, and I hope by the time we come, we would have had our winners announced. We would be able to expand further on those innovations and the practicality for these COVID-19 times. It's been such an amazing pleasure having you join us on the show today.
Thank you so much, Femi. It's my pleasure.
Wiebe,
thank you for coming on. Unfortunately, the technical issues made it a bit difficult, but I think we still learned a lot about what non-interest banking is, and also about the Innovation Challenge. And I'm actually very personally glad to hear that you'll still be doing it in 2021, because I was very impressed with the innovations that came out. Very, 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 very exciting.
Thank you so much, Wiebe.
All right. Next week, we'll be back again. Until then, on behalf of Wiebe Boer and myself, Femi Obong-Daniels, have a great week. Stay safe and keep listening to 99.3 Nigeria Info.